do this. I'm gonna keep going. See if we can finish building this sucker. Just a few days to do 10 minutes. Why not? All right. What we got going on here? All right, so we are in the routes over here, right? Route set, page found. All right, groovy.
Log layout.
Oh, that's a different bag of cats. What's that? Okay. This file, all page components from SRC pages are auto-imported. Nested directories are supported. Should be uppercase. Each subdirectory will be prepended onto the component name. Examples: home page, books page. Okay. All right, let's see here. Import blog layout. Oh, I hate that. Okay, import blog. Like, what's the? How does this work? Tab? Tab doesn't work. What's the point? Blog layout. What is this? Blog layout. Why do you not? What is the point of that? Oops. Blog. Yeah, blog layout. Okay, okay. No. That's aggravating. All right, blog layout from SRC. I'll close that, we'll do that. Layout. Blog layout. Okay.
And you'll see here we can just start with SRC. So by default, when you're within the web workspace, by doing SRC, that refers to the web's SRC. Later on, you'll see when we're in the API workspace that SRC refers to API's SRC. So there's no reason to worry about whether or not these are relative or how far back to go. You can just always start at source. And now if we save this and reload the page.
Okay. Oh, save. That's what's going on because we don't have an auto save. Then cannot find mobile SRC blog layout. Oh, okay. Hold on. So blog layout? Is that what's going on? Okay. Yo. What? SRC blog layout. Did we misspell something? Why you no fine thing? Layouts. Layouts. Okay. S. You aggravating little. Oh, what the? Okay. Blog layouts. Blog layout. What? Blog lay. SRC blog layouts. Source. App? What? What? Oh my god, that's aggravating. SRC. Blog layout. Huh. Hmm. Okay. Oh, can't. Oh, you mother. Okay. Okay, no. Save you. Did we save that? I don't even know. Did I save that? I'm not sure. Save you. Save you. I'm not sure if I saved it either. All right, cool. But error, unexpected token, huh? Throw error blah, 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 blah. What's the error you're throwing me, buddy? Mm-hmm. Routes unexpected token. Line 11 on routes. Yeah. Layouts, blog layout. Import blog layout. Hang on. Something you said.
So there's no reason to worry about whether or not these are relative or how far back to go. You can just always start at source.
Really? Let's see. Source, layouts, blog layout. Source, layouts, SRC. Am I using the right quotes? Maybe I'm not using the right quote. Oh, hang on. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm using ticks. And you're looking at single quotes. Is that what the deal is? That's what the deal is. Jesus. Okay. What? Oh, save the file. Hang on. That throws me off every time. Okay. Got to figure out that. Okay. Save file. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now we don't have the link to go back to the page. Because you had
Now if we save this and reload the page, you'll see now. So now both of these are wrapped. And right now we don't have a easy way to get back home.
Right.
A standard way to do that, right, would be to link the logo at the top. So let's do that.
Okay.
And remember, it's routes.home.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, what's he gonna do with that? Okay. All right. Who are we looking at? We're looking at blog layout, about page, blog layout. So down here under header, we're going to change header. So let's give a little space here with that. So link to equals where we're going. And where we're going, it's the routes dot home. Click. And we're gonna send that to, did we use that inside? Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay. And let's go ahead and close that. It would be nice if I could just tag that, but no. Oh my god, I don't understand. Why you, oh, what? Huh. Interesting. Okay, got to get used to that. All right, and this whole spacing is driving me mad. Which plugin is causing that? I gotta fix that. Cannot find name? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's do routes. Thank you very much. All right. Now we have let's way to go back. Okay. All right. Cool.
So now we can always click the logo to go back home. And one last thing we'll do, I'm just going to cheat here. I'm going to paste in a style sheet just to give us slightly nicer styles. And it won't do much right now, but later on when we're working on forms, that'll help a lot. And if you follow the tutorial online, you can get this style sheet. And this is going to go in source index.css. We're just going to paste this in here. So see, we changed the font. Our list items are going to be a little bit nicer. If we have a...
Oh, you decided to just... You just did the cooking show trick. Okay. Okay, Julia Childs. Let's see here. Okay.
Link in source index.css.
Source index.css. Sure, let's go take a look at that. Let's go look for it. Let's go look for it. Come on, we're gonna go source. We're gonna. Where are you? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where did you find that? App.js. Oh, app. Okay, here we go. Here it is. We're gonna put you in A. Here we go. Nothing is there. ah, nothing is there. Oh my god.
We're just going to paste this in here. We're going to go in source index.css. We're just going to paste this in here.
So, you motherfracker. We're just going to paste this in here. Do you, you don't have the learn, remember this cover chapter. This video covers chapter 1 of the tutorial. All right, and let's see. Let's go grab you. Snatch you from down here. Grab you and put you up in here. So this is chapter 1 that we're in, right? Layouts. We talked about the layouts, right? Let's see if that CSS file is in here. About page, right? Home page. Chapter 1. Now we're doing the routes, right? Talking about SRC. Why are things named the way they are? Back home again, right? We're doing the top link. Yep. I like this though. Okay. I like that better. What's that? Okay, so we got, who is this? Blog layout. Let's go over here. We're looking at the about page. Here we're looking at blog layout. Here we go. Here we've got the link to the main blog. And down here we've got route to home and about. And I am going to go nuts about this other thing here. Let's do this. We'll say, well, too bad I can't do. Oh, what? Okay. Oh, isn't that something? And now we can do li. Nope. Do the closing li. Yep. And then we'll do enters there, right? That. Do that. And inside here, we'll do link. And we'll close you off with link right now. Inside that, we're going to do 2 equals squiggly braces routes dot home. Put those back in there. Okay. And we'll say home. There we go. Okay. All right. Yep. All right. So then that's laid out that. Okay. And then we can remove the extra return to home link routes import that we had on the about page. Okay. About page. This guy up here. Fantastic. Groovy. All right. That is that. There's got to be an automatic save thing. Okay. Let's do that. Cool. Automatic save. Home and about. Fine. Yep. Redwood blog. Home and about. Fantastic. Yep. Yeah. Now, what about the CSS? Now we're getting somewhere. Removed all the duplication and header, log, and navigation all in one place. Everything we've done so far has been the website. This is all about. Let's start getting back in. Are they getting back in? Because where is? Oh, that's chapter 2. So where is? I still don't see anything about CSS. Where's the CSS thing? Okay, do you have? See, that looks like there's some CSS. See, You have the underline, that those are on top of each other, not side by side. But here, this looks like there's some CSS going on, right? Let's keep going back here. Where do you talk about CSS? Chapter 5 of the tutorial. Storybook. Ooh, create a storybook for the file, blah, blah, blah. Storybook is a wonderful tool for efficiently developing and organizing UI components. If you want to take a peek ahead, chapter 5. Oh, heck yeah. Add routes, blah, 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 blah. Automatic import of pages in the routes file. What else we got going on here? Okay. See, nope. See, you've got some CSS going on here. File structure. Gonna go back up another lesson. Okay, my friend. Schema, web directory. You are not talking about CSS file. Tips at first commit, blah, 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 blah. Prereqs. Okay, nope. You aren't giving us the CSS file. Okay, I see some shenanigans. Oh, come on, man. Okay, you're gonna make me sit here and. Oh, here it is. Simple style. Oh, God. Our first page. Thank you. Okay. Previous versions of this tutorial had you build everything without any styling, so we could really focus on the code. But let's face it, it looks like crap. Okay, let's add a really simple style sheet that will just make things a little easier. Okay, so here's the code. Copy that puppy. Great. Don't have to write all of that out. All right, now paste that puppy in here. Is it just P? Yes, it is. Okay, boom. There we go. Hot dog. Okay, save that. Now we go back. Boom. Okay. Nice. That's still side by. That's still on top of each other. Not side by side. What the deal is with that? So, let's see if we can find some second page with a link. Okay. Link about. Right. Put all that stuff in the. Okay. Okay. It's world class availability. So copy and paste header. Okay. Layouts. All right. Now we're talking about layouts. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Create your layout. Right. Okay. Blog layout. Children is where the magic will happen. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me go see this real quick. Like that says, read this. Let's take a look at this. The SRC alias. Notice that the import statements uses SRC layouts block layout dot or dot slash. Being able to use just SRC is a convenience feature provided by the framework. SRC is an alias to the SRC path of the current workspace. So if you're working in web, then SRC points to blah, 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 blah. Now let's read that out. If you're working in web, then SRC points to web SRC, and API points to API SRC. Back to the browser, you may need to manually refresh, and you should see nothing different, but that's good. It means the layout is working. Why are things named the way they are? You may have noticed some duplication in Redwood's file names. Pages live in a directory called pages and also contain page in their name. Same with layouts. What's the deal? When you have dozens of files open in your editor, it's easy to get lost, especially when you have several files with names that are similar or even the same. They happen to be in different directories. Imagine a dozen files named index.ts and then trying to find the one you're looking for in your open tabs. We found that the extra duplication in the names of the files is worth the productivity benefit when scanning for a specific open file. If you're using the React Developer Tools plugin, This also helps disambiguate when browsing through your component stack. Blog layout. Back home again. A couple more links. Let's the title logo link back to the home page, and we'll add a nav link to home as well. Okay, blog link routes on blog. That's what we have in the blog layout. Link, yep. Yep. Nav ULLI. Oh, that's why. Bingo. Okay. I should have known that. Okay, delete you. Now you beautiful lovelies should be next to each other. Awesome sauce. All right. Yada, 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 yada. And then we can move the return to home. TypeScript. Boom. Okay. All right. Let's get dynamic. Okay, let's finish this off now. Let's go back.
So see, we changed the font. Our list items are going to be a little bit nicer. If we have a link as part of an H1, just like our logo we just did, it won't be purple and remove the underline. And then we'll see as later on we get into these form elements. Let's just make it just look a little bit nicer. There we go. Okay, that covers chapter 1. Come on back for chapter 2.
I see.
As you may have.
Chapter 2. Okay. So, yeah. So this gets us to the first 3 chapters. Chapter 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Each video. Okay. And that video is a total of 20 minutes. Okay, cool. Get to chapter 2. All right. Nice. Yeah, let's dive into this. Debate. Got to debate. What do we want to do next? Let's see here. Got to adjust something. Oh, screens. Come here. Yes, bug off. Okay. See. Okay, where is the number? Okay. All right. I've got a doodad plugin that I'm looking at. I'm trying to figure out where should I put you? Where should I see you? Stick you right back in there. And I can't see anything from there. Okay. Well, that's not useful. All right, we'll take you out and I'm gonna put you here. There we go. That is more useful. All right. Whew. All right, so back to what we were looking at here.
I've heard Redwood is a full stack framework, and so far I've only really worked on the front end. We created a couple web pages, our home page and about page, and that's about it. So let's get involved with the back end here. So we spent most of our time in web. Now we're going to go to API. And our blog isn't really going to be much of a blog if we don't have any actual blog posts. Let's start creating those, and the natural place to store those in this case would be the database. So we're going to go to API DB, and we have this schema.prisma. Redwood uses Prisma as our database sort of interface layer. Makes it simple to talk to a database. You define your database tables in here in this schema.prisma file. And we have a default one here, just to show an example of how it works, but we're not going to need that. So we can get rid of that. And let's create our post database table. And Prisma is going to call these models. So we have a model post. And what columns is this database table going to have? It's going to have an ID, which is just going to be a simple integer. And these are some special Prisma syntax here. At ID means it specifies it as the primary key. And then we're going to default it to auto increment for us. So we don't have to worry about setting that ID. It'll just automatically create one when you create a new record. And then a blog post usually has a title, which is going to be a string. And it has a body, which is also going to be a string. And then finally, we'll store a created at date timestamp. And what we can do is we can default this to now. So whenever we create a record, it'll automatically stick right now in it.
Run your own data models here and run Redwood Prisma migrate dev. Right, DB migrate. You create migrations for them and apply to your dev. DB entity. Please read the following example. These are example ID, auto increment string name. Let's do this. Can I select all of you and then comment you out? What's the comment thingy? Format buffer key map F? Nope. 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 Okay. No. I just want to do actual backslash, but that's not going to be the deal. Okay. Be it. Give me back. Insert mode. Okay, commodity, commodity. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. There we go. Find existing buffers, format buffer, fuzzy, open diagnostic, key map, format buffer. Why you no give me? Oh, your Prisma file. Huh. That does not work here. Okay. Tell you what then. So backslash. Well, do it live. Do it manual. Okay, did it. Please remove the following example. I don't want to remove the following example. I don't want to. Okay, all right. Let's go down here and do the thing, shall we? We'll create a model called post, and we'll put the squiggly braces in there. And let's see, give you a little tab. We'll say ID. Integer at ID at default and auto increment. Close that off, right? And we'll do title string. We'll do body string, and we'll do created at date time at default. Now, there we Okay. Yeah, that daytime default. Okay. All right.
Okay, so there's our schema file, but we need to actually apply it to the database. So Prisma has a utility called migration, and we can run those with yarn.
Oh yeah. Okay. So where's my thingy? Okay, thingy's down here. Thingy's down here. Swap that over, and we will run that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make this solid. There we go. Easier to see. Okay, so yarn, redwood, prisma, migrate on development, right? All right, let's see.
Yarn, redwood, Prisma, migrate, dev. And this performs the migration in sort of a development mode where it expects there could be problems, there could be errors, and not to freak out. There's another deploy mode, which is more serious, and that assumes you've already tested all your changes and you know they're going to work. But for now, we're just going to stick with dev. And what this will do is create a snapshot of what the database should look like at this point in time, so it can be reapplied to the database in another environment, like in your production environment. So we're going to give it a name, and we're just going to call this create post.
Interesting. Give it a name. Enter a name for the new migration. Create post. Okay.
Name, and we're just going to call this create post.
Yeah. Okay.
And it says your database is now in sync. And if we look in here,
okay, let's go back to here. Enter all that. Applying migration. Following migration have been applied. New schema. Yada 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 yada. Now sync with your schema. Yada 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 yada. Running C's. Running C command. No seed data. All right, skipping. C script C's to start seeding your database. Running the C command has been executed. Okay.
here now we got a devdb. This is a SQLite database for local development here. It creates that for us. And then if you go in this migrations folder, you see it created a folder with a
devdb. Migrations. Okay. I see we got a migrations folder here. There's a migrations file. Nice.
timestamp and then that name that we gave it. And if you look in there, there's an actual SQL script. So this is the actual SQL that will run against the database in order to bring it up to speed with our current schema definition. And it created this lock file. You shouldn't mess with that. Of course, now that we have a database table, we want to be able to get some data in there so we can populate some blog posts.
Wait, wait. User example. Oh, interesting. Oh, because you didn't save the file. Oh my God. Okay, migrations. Ain't that something? Okay. Let's see. We need to undo something. We need to undo something. How do we roll back the migration? Let's go here, chapter 2. Really? Let's take a look at chapter 3. Chapter 3. But you guys don't have chapter 4, right? Oh, authentication. Nope. No video for chapter 4, but okay. Whatever. Oh, yes. Who are you? Storybook. Oh, right after authentication. Okay. Building a component the Redwood way. Role-based access control. Current accessing current user in the API side. Okay, let's close that. Role-based access control. Oh, okay. Yeah, yep. Oh, hell yeah. We doing all this. Okay. Okay. Now, let's go back to you. Now tell me about rolling back a thing. What are the migration commands? Migrate. How do you roll back a migration? Studio, yada yada yada. Scaffold, post. Okay, alright, so we're doing all of that. Creating, yeah, that's not. Okay, RW, migrations. See, that's what I get for not following instructions. Let's see. Roll back. Migration. Hmm. Rollback, rollback, rollback. Generate data migration. Creates a data migration. Blah 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 blah. Dash dash rollback. Okay, just DB off. Okay, how do you wait? Let's say regenerate DB off rollback. Like what? Generate directive. Generate iDirect now. No, I want to see an example of rollback. I would destroy. Destroy. Wait, what? Generate a layout component. Destroy layout. Generate model. Oh my god. Show me an example of a rollback. Generate page code. Generate real time. Stop telling me this and show me one. All right, let's do this. Generate migrate dev dash dash rollback. Okay, another expected option, rollback. Create a migration from changes. Why did the database trigger? Hmm. I don't know. What I'm understanding. Not understanding. Okay, okay, migration. Data migrations. Running a data migration. Data migrations. Reference data migrations. Data migrate install. Migrate dev. Come on. Running a migration. When you're ready, you can execute your data migration. Oh my god. How do I roll back a migration? Every time you need a data migration. Fuck me. Okay. What the hell? God damn it. Fuck. Okay. Let's go refactor. No, okay, that's a different thing. I need a new conversation, new chat. Okay. For the framework, known as Redwood JS. What is the CLI command to roll back a migration? Oh my god. Okay, CLI command, roll back a migration. Let's see, what do we have? Yarn, RW Prisma, migrate, dev. Roll back the migration. Okay, I need you to be up here so I can reach you. All right, get up here. Roll back the migration. Yarn, RW, Prisma, migrate, dev. Good lord. Okay, reset. That's it. That's all I needed. Like, what the hell? I will say failure in documentation there. Okay, reset. Migrate, reset. Hold on. Let's see. Migrate, reset. Why are you not? Where? Chapter 7? Now run yarn present migrate reset. So more migrations. So all the way down here. Okay, let's go. Show me this. Prisma migrate reset. Where are we at? Reference. Okay, command line interface. Oi, 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 oi. Okay. This command deletes and recreates the database but performs a soft reset, removing all data tables, indexes, indices, and okay. Okay. Yarn, migrate, deploy, migrate, reset, core init. Is that doing what I expected to do? Migrate command. Create only to that. Reset. It'll also reseed your database automatically. All right, so let's run that puppy. Okay, thank you, robot. Let's see if robot gets us where we want to go. Prisma, DV, migrate, reset. Okay. Are you sure you want to reset your database? Yes. Okay. Now, let's go back to the Kraken. Close that. Put that. We're going to open up. What was I looking at? What was I looking at? We're going to close you. Care about that. Schema. Where's the schema? Where's the schema file? There you are. Link. Okay. We have to save that file. Now we can run the freaking migration the way we want it. Okay, let's go back here. And now run that sucker. Oh, Dio mio. Okay. Line 26. What's the problem with you? Not 25, but 26. Integer. Int is neither a built-in type nor refers to another model. Oh, capital. Okay. Okay. Yes, I did. I did indeed mean capital. Okay. Now we save you. Go down here. We run you. Okay. Okay. Now let's go back. What we call this? Migrate post, post migrate.
Name. And if we look at production at this point in time, so it could be reapplied to the database in another environment, like in your production environment. So we're going to give it a name, and we're just going to call this create post.
All right. Yep. Create post. Okay. Now I have two migrations. The one that failed because I did not follow vid, and then this one. Okay. Yay. Okay.
And it says your database is now in sync. And if we look in here now, we got a devdb. This is a SQLite database for local development here. Creates that for us. And then if you go in this migrations folder, you see it created a folder with a timestamp and then that name that we gave it. And if you look in there, there's an actual SQL script. So this is the actual SQL that will run against the database in order to bring it up to speed with our current schema definition. And it created this lock file. You shouldn't mess with that. Of course, now that we have a database table, we want to be able to get some data in there so we can populate some blog posts and make sure it works. But how can we do that without creating all of those pages manually, right? You'd have to create a form to be able to fill in, to create a record, and then you have to create another page to be able to pull the records out and view them. So we run into this scenario a lot in web development land. So what we did is we created another generator. This is called the scaffold generator. Yarn, redwood, generate scaffold. And then the name of the model you want to scaffold. In this case, it's post. And you can do capital post or lowercase post. You'll see here that created a couple files. And before we go look at those, we'll see what it did. So we saw the server over here reload. So it knows something's going on. No change here, but the scaffold we generated post is going to make a URL for us, which is before we go look at the model you want to scaffold. In this case, redwood, generate scaffold. And then the name of the model you want to scaffold. In this case, it's post. And you can do capital post or lowercase post.
Okay. Hold on, let's go back again because you're explaining some stuff and I wasn't paying attention. So.
And if you look in there, there's an actual SQL script. So this is the actual SQL that will run against the database in order to bring it up to speed with our current schema definition. And it created this lock file. You shouldn't mess with that. Of course, now that we have a database table, we want to be able to get some data in there so we can populate some blog posts and make sure it works. But how can we do that without creating all of those pages manually, right? You'd have to create a form to be able to fill in, to create a record, and then you have to create another page to be able to pull the records out and view them. So we run into this scenario a lot in web development land. So what we did is we created another generator. This is called the scaffold generator. Yarn, redwood, generate scaffold. And then the name of the model you want to scaffold. In this case, it's post. And you can do capital post or lowercase post.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have been looking for this for a long time. Okay. Boink. Oh, yeah. Look at all that code you would have normally had to have written out by hand and tested and blah, blah, blah instantly. Okay.
You'll see here that created a couple files. And before we go look at those, we'll see what it did. So we saw the server over here reload. So it knows something's going on. No change here, but the scaffold we generated post is going to make a URL for us.
Boink. Boink. Let's do that. There we go.
Which is the plural version of that model. So posts.
Post, plural.
And
now, if I go here, view, and I say posts with S. Oh, uh-oh. Hang on. That's what he's got up there, right? Plural? Hold on, let me make that bigger. Yeah, slash post. Did it do it with a singular? No. Did it do it with a capital? Because I gave it a capital P. No. Oh, interesting. What happened? Hmm. Where's the routes? Let's see. Scaffold formatters, layout scaffold, layout scaffold, edit page, post, comments. Huh, hold on. Where's the routes? Did something happen? Um, routes file, routes file, routes file. Let's see, where's the routes file? Oh, web. Yes, there we go. Okay, I'm not using my mouse. Okay, there we go. Layouts, blog, pages. There's post. So we've got post right there. Okay, so there's the folder there. Edit new post. Uh-huh. What about routes? Did you create? Yeah, post. Okay, yeah. Slash post. There it is. Huh. Hmm. Slash post. What? Why you know? Why are you saying this isn't found? There it is right there. Slash post. What? Okay, we've got a mystery. We've got to figure out the mystery. What's happening with you, huh? New post. Yeah, I got a whole thing. Title post. Title post. Scaffold layout. Post new. It's a whole set too. Okay. Huh. Slash and about. But post. Page not found. This is weird. I mean, the files were created. Huh. Layout scaffold, route scaffold. That's. I'm perplexed. Hmm. Why is that not appearing? About. Do I have to restart? I shouldn't have to restart, right? Look at that page not found. What does the, what's good? What he's got? I mean, all that's right there. What? I am thoroughly confused. Shutting down the API server. It exited. What is going on with you? Hmm? I am not understanding why you're freaking out. I don't get it. Are you files written up? Oh my god. The file was not saved. How was the file created on from the command line but not saved? What? Oh, okay, that's a problem. What's that about? That did not make sense. The file was created from the command line. It was generated. What? What? Route must have been open in the buffer. Holy cow. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, that's a thing. See, we got to turn on that saving auto save. Mm-hmm. Because that's, yeah, auto save every file in the buffer, like every. Okay. No post yet. Create one. Okay, hold on. Nope. I'm not sure. It's not like a plugin. Invim auto save. Auto save automatically save your auto save automatically save. Okay, we got another one. Okay. But in the craft. Hmm. Auto save invim. Okay, good. Automatically save your changes so the world doesn't collapse for real. Highly customizable conditionals to serve other save non events and trigger on debounce. The save with a delay. A hook into the lifecycle with auto commands. Automatically clean the message area. Automatically clean the message area. Okay, installation. Install a plugin with your favorite manager. Yada 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 yada. Options. Your config goes here, or just leave it empty. Dev hands server. Alternately use latest tag to release. Command AS toggle optional for lazy loading on command. Event insert leave text changed. Trigger events. Okay, active plugin configuration. Autosave comes with the following defaults. Start autosave when the plugin is loaded. Enable to trigger events. Events immediate save, buff, leave, focus loss, vim suspend, defer save, insert leave, trigger events, condition, yada yada yada, yada yada, yada 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 yada. Okay, come here. So, let's open that puppy up. Where did we keep that puppy? Let's open up a new thingy. Go to, where are you? You in config invim. Boom. Okay. Yes. Okay. And then it's the init. Okay. So vim init. Boom. Let's go all the way down to 400. Okay, we're 400, right? 450. There's yes. Okay. All right. And we're going to snatch all you beautiful people, copy you, get back over here, and we're going to stuff that in it. Hey, oh, really? Okay. Let's try that again. Copy you and paste you. Bruh. Bruh. Insert? What? Paste you? No. No. Paste. Okay. I don't. Why is that not working? Okay, commands are working. So why is P not working? Why has P got a big old blank? Ah. Why you make me happy? Okay, copy that. No, here. Copy that. Go here. No, I'm not doing visual. I'm not doing visual. I'm not visual. I'm not even doing insert. Paste. Why is no? Oh God. Paste is not working for some fracking reason. Oh my God. Okay. What? Bro, I don't want to type that out. Why is that not? Why are you not pasting? I did this before. I don't understand. You know what? No. Let's just do this here. Nope. Stop. Quit. Exclamation mark. Screw you. Okay, we'll put you down here. We'll go up here. Maybe Tilex will treat us better. Config. Bim. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, let's open this up. Okay, let's. Okay, my plugin start. Fantastic. Pull them down here. And we're going to change your mode. Paste you. Oh, nope. Really? Is it something about this field that is not copy paste? Yeah. What's okay? Hold on. Off. Open. Come here. Open a new window. What the hell? All right. All right. Paste that. Oh, it's sitting. Oh, it's sitting in memory. Mother fracker. Let's edit. Give me the code. Plain text. No, no, no. File format. Source code. Jeez Christ. Okay, yeah, let's get all that out the way. Just give me the thing. Edit. Copy. Paste. Wow. I don't know what's going on. This used to be able to just copy paste right into here. What the hell? Oh my God. What am I not? Am I cracking up? What the hell? Blah, 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 blah. No, I had this working. Why are you not copy pasting all of a sudden? Fuck it. Let's do this. Manually put this in here. All right. Don't care about this. Bug off. Discard. Okie dokie. So we've got you. Autosave. That in. cmd equals as toggle. Care about that. Okay. Event equals close. Let's get inside of here. Open that up. Insert. Leave. Text changed. Okay. This options. And we will put that in here. Okay. Don't care about that. All right. Let's close. Let's close. Close that, and that's it. Really. Okay. Let's see. Make a thing here. Auto save. Auto save. Auto save files for your sanity. Okay. All right. Let's get rid of this extra row here. Turn that off. Put that. All right. Groovy. Now let's go to lazy and see if show. Probably not. Let's name this thing. I'll say quit, and we're going to quit you. Oh Lord, yes. Okay, yep. Restart that. I'll save groovy, fantastic. Okay, now let's open up the doodads that we wanted for. You're still running, good. Okay.
And then we have this here. So this is posts, and look at this. There's a new post, and there's a message here. No post yet. Do you want to create one? Yes, I do. I'm going to call this my first post.
Beautiful, beautiful, fracking beautiful. Yes, I do. Create a post, create one. Sure, yes, I do. Oh yeah. Okay, okay. Okay. Slip some light. Okay. Generate it. You think water moves fast? Alright, let's go. It should be instant copy on here, shouldn't it? Maybe that's what that was. Copy and paste. Woohoo! And slip some. Alright, so I'm not gonna put that in there because why God's name will we do that? We are going to go all the way to the front of this line and get rid of at the beginning. Where is it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, well, here's one thing to change. To change that from a single line to a field, to a big thingy text box. Anyway, okay, save. Yay. Post created. Fantastic. Oh god, yes, I love this. Okay, let's go back.
If I save that, post created, and now there's a record in here. I can go and create another one. Now I've got two. And you can go in here and you can edit these. Or you can even delete them. And you get a warning. Are you sure you want to do that? So with one generate command, Redwood created all these pages necessary to be able to perform these CRUD actions. CRUD, C-R-U-D, create, update, retrieve, delete.
That's a big fracking deal. Okay, like no sarcasm. That really is a big fracking deal. Okay. Second post. Alright. Let's see, even more stuff. Generated again, maybe? Something else? What else you got? Your bones don't break, mines do. Copy that. Stuff that in here. Fantastic. Now we have two. Woo! We can see it. We can edit it. And if we want to, we can delete it. Big fracking major deal there.
Those 4 actions are very common. It's sort of the 4 things you do with data in the database. And now you can do it all through these pages and it didn't take any manual work at all. So let's see what that actually created on the back end. So we're still here in API. And if we look in source GraphQL, you'll see there's now this posts.stl.
Source, can we open up APIs? API source. Are you looking at API source GraphQL? Okay. GraphQL, now there's this post data. Okay, there we go, yep. Okay, schema, nice. Okay.
SDL is schema definition language. So this defines the fields and types for your GraphQL schema. And you'll see here it created the post type itself, and then a couple queries to get all posts and to get one post. And GraphQL sort of has a recommendation for these input types when you are creating and updating data. So we created a create input type and a update input type. And then the mutation are our other 3 actions. So there's create, update, and delete. And you'll see here the input, takes the input types, update takes the input type. In addition to the ID of the record you want to update, delete takes just the ID. Likewise up here, post doesn't take any parameters because it's just going to return all of them. And then viewing a single post is going to take 1 parameter, which is the ID of the post you want to view. It also created a services file. So you see posts.js. So normally in GraphQL, you may have heard of GraphQL resolvers. And normally that's when you have these query and mutation types, you say for the post query, here's how to resolve that. Here's how to get the data ready to return for posts. And normally you would manually write these results.
Wait, what's he looking at? Okay, wait. Post.stl.js. Wait, where is post.stl.js? Oh, this guy. Okay. Wait, no, that's the file I'm already looking at.
Resolvers. Here, that's .js. It also created a services file. So you see posts.js.
Okay, there you are. Post. Okay. Resolvers, mutation, query resolvers, mutation resolvers. I see. Okay. Neat.
Yes. So normally in GraphQL, you may have heard of GraphQL resolvers. And normally that's when you have these query and mutation types, you say for the post query, here's how to resolve that. Here's how to get the data ready to return for posts. And normally you would manually write these resolvers. But in Redwood, we automatically map a resolver to the service. So if you have an SDL type posts, it'll look for a post service with a function called posts. Or up here you have create, update, and delete. You'll see in our service we have create, update, and delete. So as long as they're named the same, they'll automatically be mapped. And then within that function, we just make Prisma calls. So this is Prisma syntax here. DB, which is an instance of the Prisma client, then the model name, and then Prisma has all these functions for retrieving data. Find menu.
Post.js. Post.ts for me. Okay. Resolvers. Post query resolvers. Types. Post. Find unique. unique, create, update. Yeah. Find many, find unique, create, update, delete. Oh my god, this is what I was looking for for so long. Okay. Okay, let's see here. I am not too certain about a little detail. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's try this. Going to keep talking to see how my gain is working. I'll bring you down. Oh, you can't hear anything down here. Okay. I'll bring you up. If I bring you up, more up, further up. Okay. Let's try that. Okay, I like that better. All right, so now get a little bit more volume here. Oh, this is neat. This is perfect. This is beautiful. Okay. Hmm.
Many, find unique, create, update, and delete. Okay, so that's all the code that was created on the back end for us. What about to the front end? So if we go in here, we'll see that there are now pages, and we nest these in a post directory for you. There's the 4 main pages, the list of all pages, one single post, creating a new post and editing a post. Delete doesn't have a page that you go to. And then we also got a layout. There's a post layout, and this contains the title on the left, post, and then the button, the new post button on the right. And you'll see we got several components here also nested within post. So these are the actual components that display the post or a single post, and then we have these cells. We're going to talk about those more in a minute. And then finally, if we go to routes, we'll see it created a set here, wrapping just like our blog layout, except this one wrapped in the posts layout, and there's our posts. So there's the list of all posts, there's a single post, there's editing a post, and there's creating a new post. So that was pretty neat, right? Redwood made all that for us. And you may notice this, some things are plural and some things are singular, and the way that we ended up coming with that naming scheme is sort of however you would talk about these in natural language. So if you said, I'm going to edit a post, singular, because you're only going to edit one post, but I'm going to view all the posts, plural in that case. So if you find yourself confused between singular and plural, it's just whichever is most natural, and your regular speech is probably going to be the way it is. Okay, so this scaffold is great, but we're not going to expect a user coming to our blog to view blog posts like this, right? And we're especially not going to let them edit or delete them. So we need to actually present them in a way for the normal guest user. And a natural place for that would be the homepage, right? So you'd view the latest posts here on the homepage. We're going to want to show a list of all the posts, but the internet is not instantaneous, so we probably want some kind of a loading screen. And if there was some kind of error when we were retrieving them, we'd probably want to show an error message. And it starts to be a lot of things you need to worry about just to get a simple component on the page. But what if you didn't have to worry about those things? And this is where we introduce the Redwood cell. So let's generate one of those for our homepage. We're going to want to show all the blog posts on the homepage. And just to avoid confusion, instead of saying, normally I would say yarn Redwood generate cell post, because we want to show posts. But we already have posts involved with the scaffold that we generated, and it can be kind of confusing if they both have the same name. So let's choose a different name. Let's say article. And in this case, we want to show multiple articles on the homepage, right? So we're going to put plural here.
Cool. Let's follow that yarn. Okay, Redwood. Generate a cell. Articles. Okay. Generate cell files. Article cell mock test stories TSS. Okay, good.
And what did that create? So if we look in here into our components, there's our articles cell, and it created the articles cell JS, and then it also created a mock story and test file. We won't talk about those yet, but those are.
So, all right, let's back over here. Who am I selecting? There we go. To web source. Close that. Let's go back to let's see, layouts. Close that. Pages. Close that. We're gonna open up components. components, now we have article cell. Interesting. Articles cell. Open that up. And we've got article stories mock. Yep, there's mock, there's stories. Okay. All right, let's see who you are. Cell TSX. Okay. Module types GraphQL. Module types GraphQL. Having a problem finding that, huh? Something I need to run after this. Let's see. Render. Hold on, what is at the top here? Article cell. Did you pick that? Let's see. Yep, article cell dot test.
Coming soon. So we're just worried about this for right now. And what do we have in here? We have an articles query, and that looks like GraphQL.
Yep, line 9. Yep, that's definitely a GraphQL query. Yeah.
And then here's a component called loading, and here's a component called empty, and here's a component called failure, and here's a component called success. So what this is, what a cell is you may have heard it also referred to as a single file component. So sort of everything is encapsulated within this one file. The data fetching, what to do while the data is fetching. So this loading component will be rendered while we're waiting to hear back from the server with the actual data. Or if there is no data, it'll render the empty state here, the empty component. If there's an error, it'll render the failure component and pass the error in, you can display. And then finally, if the data does come back and there is some data, it will render the success component, and that data will be here in articles. And in this case, it just loops over them. Now, the one thing about a cell is it's pretty closely tied to the data. And we have no articles data, right? We just named it that because of the name clash with the scaffold we generated. So really, we want to get the posts. So we'll need to make a slight change to this. It just called this articles. You'll see articles, 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 because that was the name of the cell. And that's generally probably how you'll come about it, is you'll have a cell for a database table, and those names will all match up properly. But in this case, we're going to change it. So we're going to say it's going to be called articles, but really behind the scenes, I want you to call posts. And
Okay.
then we can leave articles here and here.
Okay, then we can leave articles here and here. Success. Right, articles and articles.
And this isn't rendering anywhere yet. This is just a component in isolation. So now let's put it into the home page.
All right, so now we're going into the home page. All right, page that back over, flip back over here. Right. Pages. Yeah, we're looking for. We're going to the home page. You did say home page. Okay, that's opened it yet, so let's see. Okay, yeah, all right. Now let's home page, open that puppy, boom.
And these will import. And you notice there was nothing exported here called article cell. So where did that name come from? We've got a Babel plugin that sort of creates that pseudo name for us. So you just reference the file name like you do anything else, components, article cell, and it knows what to pull in correctly.
Okay. Go ahead and make that change. SRC components article cell. Okay.
So instead of just rendering the text home here, let's render article cell.
Okay. So instead of Did I mess up something? Article cell. No, cannot find modules. Components. Articles. Cell. Of course you can. What the? Wait. You're literally telling me it's there. Article cell. Meta tag. Open. Close. We're doing another open close apparently. Yeah, we're gonna say articles. So, okay. Color change. Okay, article cell. All right. All right. Uh-huh. Bugging out. Why are you bugging out? Why are you bugging out? Why you be bugging? Nope, we're gonna keep that. Okay, why are you bugging out? SRC components, articles, cell. Cannot find components, article, cell. Components, article, cell. Yeah, it's doing that same thing again where it's like, not saving. Okay. Let's see something down here. It status. A whole bunch of stuff. Web SRC components, article cell. Yeah, it's right there. It's like, what the heck? Oh my god. It, web, building out post crud. Oh shoot, hold on. Chucklehead, it at all. Bit. There we go. Okay. Set. Now, these things are here. Why are you telling me you don't know what this is? Cannot find. I know it's there. I'm looking right at it. Come here. It's right here. What's this error about? Types, GraphQL. Bring you over here. I need to read the whole fracking thing. Has no exported member. types GraphQL has no exported member articles query. Exported member articles query. Okay. What are you talking about? Articles query. What? Okay, what's it said? Don't understand.
And there we go. So remember, we created 2 posts in the scaffold, and here they are, 1 and 2. Doesn't tell us much. Just
Yeah, go back.
go in correctly.
How you running that? Oh, homepage. Let's go open up homepage again. So, homepage. Those guys. Right. Now, if I go here, and okay.
So instead of just rendering the text home here, let's render article cell.
Yeah, that's not having any problem for him.
And there we go. So
all right, he's back at home. All right, so he's back at the home route. I got nothing. What you talking about? Nothing showing up here. Okay, buddy, hold on. You didn't miss a step. Dynamic. Okay, all of that was fine. Let's start this again. I missed something.
we're going to want to show all the blog posts on the homepage. And just to avoid confusion, instead of saying, normally I would say yarn redwood generate cell post because we want to show posts. But we already have posts involved with the scaffold that we generated, and it can be kind of confusing if they both have the same name. So let's choose a different name. Let's say article. And in this case, we want to show multiple articles on the homepage, right? So we're going to put plural here. And what did that create? So if we look in here into our components, there's our articles cell, and it created the articles cell JS, and then it also created a mock
Hold on. So
cell, and
that right there, his line 3 has some shenanigans going on. Articles cell. Let me take a look at that. That's line 1 for him. Okay. My equivalent line is line 9. Because that's trying to come out of here. All right, we need some robot assistance here. What's going on here? So let's see if I can select all of you. And we're going to go down to the robot. Okay, robot, let's do a new chat. Let's see, line 1 of this TypeScript file is giving an error. Paste all that. Let's see, let's go to the top here. Giving an error. Giving an error here too. What's that all about? How are you giving? What the hell? Let's pop this over here. Let's tell you what the error is. It's giving an error which says module types slash GraphQL has no exported member called articles query. Why is the shift button not working? Articles query. Okay. No exported member called articles query. TypeScript one word. Articles query. How can I resolve this error? Here is the code. All right, cool. Okay, robot, tell me something. Apparently, I have to export this member, but how do I do that? Okay, let's big it over here. All right, let's see what you got to tell me, robot. All right, you done? Okay. A whole bunch of steps. This error occurs because TypeScript can't find the article query's type in your types GraphQL module. Here are some ways to resolve. Regenerate GraphQL types, most common solution. Yarn generate types. The most likely cause is that your types haven't been generated yet. That feels right. Generate types or yarn generate types. This will generate the TypeScript types based on your GraphQL schema and queries. Make sure your query name matches exactly. The error shows articles query, missing I, but your code uses articles query. No, that's just my typo. Articles query. Yep. Verify the query structure. Your query uses articles post, which aliases post to articles. Make sure your GraphQL schema actually has a post field that returns the expected type. Do you have a post field? Excuse me. Let's see. Articles. APIs. So hold on. Let's open a new up. Boom. Boom. Types. Types. Oh, nothing in there. Interesting. DB. Schema Prisma. GraphQL. Where do GraphQL config? Where do I look for that? Let's ask. Okay. Verify structure. Your query uses. Make sure your GraphQL schema. GraphQL schema. Is that the Prisma schema? Yeah. That schema. Let's see. Verify the query structure. Okay, check import path. Ensure the import path is correct. Where the typical path is types GraphQL. But if you're using a different setup, it might be no, that's it. Restart development server. Verify GraphQL schema. Make sure your GraphQL schema has the appropriate queries defined in your API SRC GraphQL directory. API SRC. There we go. GraphQL directory. Okay. Now you're telling me where to look. Thank you. Well, there's post, query post, post ID. Okay. Make sure your GraphQL schema has the appropriate queries defined in your. You should have a schema that includes a post query. Looks like it does. Temporary workaround. If you need to unblock development temporarily, you can define the types locally. Add this at the top of your file temporarily. Interface, articles query, articles array. ID string and other types you expect. Interface articles query, but this is just a temporary fix. You should regenerate the proper types. So you're telling me that you like that. Okay. RW generate types. Okay. Yarn RW generate types. Okay. Yarn RW generate types. Okay. Now, let's go back to the file that gave us the drama. We'll close that. What file was that? I have forgotten just that quickly. Bring you over here. You know what? This. Mm-hmm. Oh, there we go. Okay. Everything fits in that spot. All right. Article cell. Tabs. I should have tabs. Yeah. Tabs for files that are open or some buffer window that tells me what the deal is, right? Let's see. We're looking for article cells. You guys, right? Yeah. You. All right. Now let's see what happens if we run this puppy. Experimentation. Oh my god. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-uh. Could not generate GraphQL type definitions. Uh-oh. GraphQL document validation failed with one error. Cannot query field articles. One type query. Uh-oh. HomeGen blah 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 blah. Article cell. Two. Article cell. Article cell TS, yep. Two, yep. Close it. Uh-oh. Down there, they did not like that. Oh my. Alright. I missed something. I'm missing something. Mhm. I am missing something. What am I missing? Hmm. Okay. Verify the schema. SRC. Hold on. Let's go back here again. Close you. API. We're gonna go back to SRC. Okay. API. SRC. GraphQL. Okay. Let's grab all you. That. That. Okay, here is this file. Do you see any problems in this file? See any problems with looks correct with file function? Hmm. Issues likely the TypeScript types haven't been generated. User post. Your component is trying to import articles query and articles query variables from types GraphQL. These types don't exist yet because they need to be generated from your GraphQL operations. Yeah, but that is giving me issue. Run generate types. Scan all the GraphQL queries. Generate my TypeScript types in web types. And where? Web SRC. Close that. Close that. SRC types down here. There's nothing in here. What the hell? Create article query and a type based on your actual query. What's the command we should see a file like that contains to generate types, including mm, hmm, update the imports and types accordingly by generating proper. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Where are we at? Article cell. SRC components. Okay. Article components. That doesn't track. Let's see here. I just want to get past this problem. Right. See, I could go here, but you don't have go to file, do you? Can't find file. Right. Types. GraphQL. You go to types. There's nothing in here. Module types GraphQL does not exist. What's the deal there? Could not generate GraphQL type definitions. Huh. Hmm. So running RN types, right. After running this, Let's see. Okay. Remove the alias. Right. That's nonsense. Okay, let's go back to this. And let's get rid of this. Remove the alias. Change your query to use the actual field names. And not this nonsense. So, gonna get rid of you. Let's query to post. Remove that. Then update your success component. Success. Success. Okay. Yeah. Nope. Change particles to posts. And same thing for, where's the other one? Post, oh, there it is. Looks like that, right? Okay. Set map. Okay, change markers to post. Okay. Keep the alias, but fix the syntax. If you want to keep the article's name in your component, use proper GraphQL alias syntax. This is correct alias syntax. Oh, wait. Articles, post. This is correct syntax. Okay, that's right. The alias syntax is actually correct GraphQL. The error suggests that the types might not be regenerating properly. Stopping restarting your dev server after running generate types. Check if the types were generated. Regenerate types with force. Start and stop. Wait. Stop and restart. Okay, stop and restart. Okay, hold on. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Control C does not seem to work, so yeah. Control Yep, Control C, but that's not working. Oh, Control backslash. Huh. I think I've ever used that. Okay, Control C, nothing. Control C, nothing. Control backslash. Look at that. I think that's something. Process is running. He's running. Great. That okay. That's just like processing parameters done. It's like okay. Are they done? Really? Because I don't see anything in there. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there. All right. Okay. So you said stop and restart the server after running yarn rw generate types. Okay. Look at this. API types. I'm looking at the wrong folder. API types. Look at that. Nothing. It is not done with errors. Bro, it does not like that. Okay, so Let's try this. Check out the types. Nope. Force. Okay. This, boy, this looks ugly. Okay. Okay, we'll put you up here. Drag you up here. I need to see this. Okay, yarn. RW generate heights. Force. Huh. RW generate types. Generate supplementary code, working directory to use where regular TOML is located. Load AV telemetry options. Does it like that? Remove minus RF dot redwood. Okay. Yarn redwood generate pipes. Still big F you. Lodging, it does not like that at all. Most likely solution. Option one is probably the simplest and most straightforward. Just remove the alias and post. And use post directly since that's what your schema actually provides. Change. Run that again. And it should work without errors. You know what? Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Problem solutions. Change to this. Back to that. Generate you. Off. Okay. Nope. Post. And post. Okay. All right. Great. Then, okay, if we do that, then what's with that? Okay, and then run this again, right? Standard individual. Making that, then run that again. Yarn, RW generate types, finish yarn. Oh my god. This file saved. That save you. What the frack? Ain't that something? Change focus, huh? Okay, autosave doesn't seem to be. To figure that out. Okay. Well, I'm going to soldier on now. Okay, who's next? What file should I have open? This is the file I should have open. All right. Okay. Get on back down. Yeah.
It created the articles cell.js, and then it also created a mock, story, and test file. We won't talk about those yet, but those are coming soon. So we're just worried about this for right now. And what do we have in here? We have an articles query, and that looks like GraphQL. And then here's a component called loading, and here's a component called empty, and here's a component called failure, and here's a component called success. So what this is, what a cell is you may have heard also referred to as a single file component. So sort of everything is encapsulated within this one file. The data fetching, what to do while the data is fetching. So this loading component will be rendered while we're waiting to hear back from the server with the actual data. Or if there is no data, it'll render the empty state here, the empty component. If there's an error, it'll render the failure component and pass the error in, you can display. And then finally, if the data does come back and there is some data, it will render the success component, and that data will be here in articles. And in this case, it just loops over them. Now, the one thing about a cell is it's pretty closely tied to the data. And we have no articles data, right? We just named it that. because of the name clash with the scaffold we generated. So really we want to get the posts. So we'll need to make a slight change to this. It just called this articles. You'll see articles, 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 because that was the name of the cell. And that's generally probably how you'll come about it, is you'll have a cell for a database table and those names will all match up properly. But in this case, we're going to change it. So we're going to say it's going to be called articles, but really behind the scenes, I want you to call posts. And then we can leave articles here and here. And this isn't rendering anywhere yet. This is just a component in isolation. So now let's put it into the home page. And these will import. And you notice there was nothing exported here called article cell. So where did that name come from? We've got a Babel plugin that sort of creates.
Hold on. Wait. Do I? Okay, wait. So split. And let's. Okay, let's go over here. And we want to go to, who's the home page? Oh my God, I don't even remember. Web, okay, web layouts, web components, articles, wait, web, home page, pages, pages, home page, there we go. I'll put you A. All right, article cell, right. Okay. Now, okay.
Creates that pseudo name for us. So you just reference the file name like you do anything else, components, article cell, and it knows what to pull in correctly. So instead of just rendering the text home here, let's render article cell. And there we go. So remember, we created 2 posts in the scaffold, and here they are, 1 and 2.
Oh, 1 and 2. Right. So now I've got to run the server, right? So got to bring the server back up. Okie dokie. All right. So give it that Ipsum. Let's see. Nope, down here. You are on the about page, which is not showing me anything. Okay. Wait, home? Yeah. About, yeah. Home. Gives me nothing. Okay. Errors, console errors. Nope. Trying to do stuff. Let's see. Nothing. Okay. Well, that's cute. Alrighty. Oh, shoot. Type name, post ID. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, this is now, the file's not giving me any errors, but it's also not doing anything. Success. Okay, can I inspect you? Let's see here. So success, we have an object, that's post. Cell success props. Return post on map. Okay, nothing. There's nothing that's coming out of this. There's nothing coming from post. Where are you breaking? Query, loading, empty. It doesn't, it's, Looks posted there. But you're not showing me anything here. Post.map. Hang on, can I inspect you? Hold up. Okay. Ping. Where is this? This is front end, right? Okay. Hello, the React Dev Tools. Match extensions. Do I have React Dev Tools? I should have React Dev Tools, don't I? Be surprised I don't have you on this browser. There's Vue. There's Redux Dev Tools. Huh. There's Angular. Okay, I haven't built anything in Angular forever. Okay. React Dev Tools. Yes, come here. All right, add the extension. Fantastic. Lovely. Now, log off. Okay. And back here. Okay. Hold on. Let's see something. Hmm. 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 Okay. I see. It's there. All right. So get going. All right. Let's go back here. Go back here. Okay. Ping, 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 ping. Right. So that should be here now. Where are you at? React DevTools. What? Something, I installed something with, oh, Apollo Client DevTools. Okay, okay, no, yeah, that's exactly what you clicked on. Okay. React Developer Tools, Pop State, yes, 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 yes. Okay, bug off, bug off. Okay, fantastic. Now, a little too much air there. All right, in the mic. Sorry about that. Elements. Okay, console. Okay, what am I looking at? I am looking at homepage. Right. Hmm. Are you even? Well, that's. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So, nope, not there. show up there. Okay. I need you here. Okay. Where are you? Just no ping then. Even if that doesn't show up, it should return this unordered list. Success. Loading. Failure. Are you even running? Article cell. Metadata home. Hang on. Are you? What's. This is homepage. Hello. What the hell? Motherfracker. The file wasn't saved. Oh my God. And I had no idea that the file was not saved. What is going on? I don't understand. Oh my God. Autosave. Yeah, install. You have details on this, huh? Give me this thing. Where is this thing at? Come here. Open the web browser. What is automatically save your changes? Are they? Are they changes? What? How? Installation. Optional for lazy loading on command. Events. Text changed. I don't know what this means. Insert leave. Comes with the following defaults. Enabled, true. Deferred save. Trigger events. Oh my God, bro. Usage. Besides running autosave at startup, if you have enabled equals true in your config, you may as well toggle autosave. You may want to set up a key mapping for toggle. Or it's part of lazy engine plugin spec. Toggle autosave. Whew, okay, so yeah, this is not set up right. So quit that. I'm gonna figure this out. Come here, you. So let's get in here. Get in here. And we are going to hear about that. this out right now. Let's see. Open up a new term. Bring this down here. CD into dot big in this fracking thing. Let's go down. Nope, down here. 400. Okay. Where you at? Up here, someplace there. Tree, TypeScript support. Number to string. Comment thingy. Okay. Emit, language event, filter, autosave. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, keys. Okay, here. Man, DS toggle. Event. Whatever. Options command is toggle. Here. Keys equal closed. Space down here. Why are you all out here? Doesn't matter. Okay, keys. Open, close, clear. Leader. In, whatever that means. CMD. AS toggle. CR. Close that. Description equals toggle auto save. Toggle auto save. Okay. Close that. Options. Whatever. Frac. It's callbacks auto save pre blah 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 blah. What is this? Another example of print message. I don't care. Basic usage. Just oh my god. Okay. Buffer size condition. I don't care. Trigger events. I don't care. Trigger events. Failed to that's we did say buff leave, right? Also possible to pass a pattern of trigger event. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. How do I say it? Event. Insert leave. Text changed. Optional for lazy loading on trigger events. Don't care. AS toggle. Optional for lazy loading on command. Don't care. Okay. 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 Close this. Right. Quit. Okie dokie. Now I'm gonna go right back down here with you. Stick you down here. And you want to quit. Quit. Quit, quit, quit. Yes, save all the things. Oh my god. Okay, now let's go back in here. So that worked. It was just the file wasn't auto saved. My god. Okay.
Two. Doesn't tell us much, it has the ID. So let's get a little more data here for those. So we'll go to our query and we say we also want the title and the body and the created at.
Fantastic. Title, body, created back.
So we'll go to our query and we say we also want the title.
All right, so hold on. So we've got article cell and home page. Okay, let's go find home page, article cell and home page. Pages, home page, and we're going to split that up. I'm going to go down to article cell components, SRC components, article cell. Oh, there we go. I'll put you down here in B. Okay, all right. Yeah, nice. All right, now, save. Okay. I'll save on. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's on. Okay. Oh, shoot. Error executing. Buffer leave out of commands for execute loop callback and it will recognize you index up value logger. It should be saved. Set current win. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Oh, how do we get here? How did I get here? Processing book, leave commands. Oh boy. Okay. Oh God. Okay, you're freaking out in. Okay. How am I here? How do we get here? Open diagnostic, blah, blah, blah. Fuzzy, nope. Nope, 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 nope. Oh boy. What? Oh boy. Shoot. Format buffer, search files. Oh, okay. We are looking for. Let's look for schema. Oh, I can't find schema, huh? Okay. Run all commands and options. What the? What did I get here? Okay. All right. All right. All right. Can I get you quit? Yes. Oh my God. Quit. Quit. Jesus Christ. All right. That bugged out the whole thing. We're not doing that. Let's go back. 400. Init Ruby floating doodad. Autosave is acting like a punk. Okay, autosave. So, yep. Bye bye. Nope. Yeah. Quit. Bring you back down here. We'll start you again, sir. Mm-hmm. We'll look at the lazies, huh? And make sure that that nonsense is not here. Okay, update sync profile debug out install update sync clean. Here, X. It may sign to X, 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 X. All these things I ain't using X. Go away. Quit. Okay. All right. So, we are looking for. Let's see if I can't do a search for a file. Search files diagnostic. Search grep, search, reserve, search current words, search recent files, search and open files. Ooh. Search file. Search for file. Who's the file I want? I want articles. Yes, that's who I want. I want you to open up my dog. Okay, now let's get on down here and we're gonna say, hey, we like ID. We're gonna add Title. And who else?
Title and the body and the creator.
Title, the body, and creator. Title, body, created. Nice if you knew what was there. Indeed. Interesting that it doesn't, right? Created at. Okay, who else? Anything else?
Created at. If we save that and reload.
Nope. Okay, so created at. Fantastic. We will save that. Going over to the browser. Oh, look at that. Ping, hello. Yes, my pings and my hellos are showing up now. Yes, they are. Ping, ping. Yep, hello and ping. Yay. Yep. Yeah, it wasn't. Wasn't running that dangum thing. Boy, boy, boy. Something. Okay. All right. Yep. Yep, same thing. Yep. She ain't saved. Okay. Okay, I see saved. Okay. Hello. 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 Hello shouldn't be there. Where's hello coming from? Oh, that's saved. Oh, let's save that again. Okay. Well now. Where I wonder how good a fuzzy search are you, huh? Search files, diagnostics, search by grep. Hello? Homepage. Line 27. There we go. Hot dog. Hot dog. Oh my. Okay, so now we can ditch that. See that file. Now we're good. Okay, cool.
There's all that data now. And that's pretty ugly, so let's format that. Let's go back to our cell here, and we know we're going to be in the success component. And let's return a little semantic HTML here. So we're going to...
Oh, he did something. All right, let's see. Is there a buffer? Format buffer. Search toggle. What am I toggling? Inlay hints. Let's go back. And tree toggle. Open diagnostic. With fuzzy search in current buffer. All right. Who am I looking for? We're going to go search for file. File that we want is articles. Yeah, we can shift to that. There we go. Daddy likes that. Okay. All right. Return articles dot map. Oh, I see what you did. I see what you did. So we're going to map. Hold on, wait a minute. Success. Rewrote all that. Constant success. Okay, I don't like that being up there. I don't know where that convention came from. That's not my style. Let's get up here. Get up here. Okay. So we've got post. Hold on, space there. Cool. We've got post. Now we're doing something different. Not even sell success props article query. Why?
I'm going to loop over each article. We're going to create an article tag with the key.
They changed that entirely. Okay. Like, why? Because you got these guys. All right, whatever, man. Just a squirrel. Okay, so we got that. Then we got our return. And now, okay, doing doing stuff. Yep. Yeah, he's rewrote the thing. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, do the arrow function with the thing, return, post, dot map. Let's see. Oh, actually, no, that's all this right. Oh, wait, no, stop. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of that. This is now up here. Right. Post on map. Okay, and you want post on map. Post. Okay. Okay, we're doing that instead. That's you. Now we are plopping in. Oh God. Just delete the whole thing. What the hell? That's okay. Article. That should be, we're creating a, oh, my bad. Oh, hmm, hmm. Post e equals post.id. Close that puppy. Mm-hmm. And let's see what goes inside of you. We've got a header. Got a header, and inside the header, we've got two. Post title and close that. Right. Okay, H2 header up to that like that. Tag, WP tag, space in your face. Okay, post dot body. We're basically just shaping things now. All right, and we'll do div. Post it at some time. Post dot created at. Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. How about say you property post does not exist on type intrinsic elements. Oh boy.
Email here, and we know we're going to be in this, all that data now. And that's pretty ugly, so let's format that. Let's go back to our cell here.
Articles.map. Earn. Articles.map. Item. Item.id. Post.map. Item.
And we know we're going to be in the success component. And let's return a little semantic HTML here. So
Post.map. Remember, item implicitly has an anything. I can't care about that. Post key. Maybe. Let's do this. Hold on. We're doing the wrong thing. So, post. There we go. Post ID. Shit. Post ID. Articles, article. Post key equals post.id. Header post. Title plus body. Does not exist on type. These are intrinsic elements. Oh. No. He's returning an actual HTML element. Article. Okay. That's what you're bugging out about. Okay. Hold on, you got a comma? Okay, fine. Oh, unexpected? Wait, what? Declaration of statement expected. Ah. That should be a U thing. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay.
we're going to loop over each article. We're going to create an article tag with the key. And we'll have a header with the title and in the body. And then we'll have the posted at date. There we go. Now,
let's see. You show us the thing. Post. Okay, cool. Yep. That's nice. Girl, the man. Okay, yep. Beautiful. Nice. All right, let's get this out the way. Fantastic. Wonderful.
not bad. And that cell, since it's a little self-contained item, we can use that in other places as well, if we ever wanted to show multiple blog posts like this. So let's take a little sidebar here. How is all this data moving through Redwood? Where's it coming from? How's this work? Let's take a look here. So we've got our browser. In this case, this was called post cell. And when we made a GraphQL query, there was a GraphQL payload that went across the internet back to our server. And if you deploy serverless, then this would become something like a Lambda function, but you kind of ignore that for now. Just pretend this is a server running somewhere. So that request comes up, and the post SDL is going to be used to make sure that data is valid, the parameters you gave it and requested are correct. And assuming they are, right, it's going to use the pseudo resolver that we've created in our service. So it goes to the Post.js service, looks up the posts function, and then in there's Prisma. So Prisma then is going to write SQL, and that's going to be in your database somewhere. In this case, it's local right now, SQLite, but in your production environment, it's probably in a remote server somewhere. And then the data comes back, and then it's returned from the service back to GraphQL. GraphQL packages it up and returns it through the internet back down to the browser, and that's displayed on the page like that. Okay, so we've got our homepage here with our list of blog posts. Let's make a detail page so you can view a single post sort of in isolation on its own page. How are we going to do that? Well, we turn these into links and then go somewhere. So we'll need a page at least, right? A detail page. And that page needs to get the data from somewhere. And you could post it through a prop, let's say, and give it through to the detail page. But since it's retrieving data, that sounds like a job for a cell. That's what we like cells to do, right? Whenever you need to get something from the database to display it, that's usually the job for a cell. So instead of posting the whole article data over, what if we just tell the article detail page, hey, here's the ID of the post I want to view. So let's create an article page. All right, generate a page here and call article. So if we go here now, we have an article page, but we don't know which article to display. So let's say this is going to look something like article/1, which doesn't exist yet. So what we can do is come back here and go to our routes. And we'll say here for the article page, there's going to be a parameter. And we call these route parameters. And in this case, we're going to say whatever is the next part of the path here, put that in a variable called ID. So now if we go back, we're getting a little farther, missing parameter ID. Page needs to get the data from somewhere, and you could post it through a prop.
I need to take a break. Let's see here. Okay.